Hello, and welcome. This is Julie with the Jewel Design, and we're back on another week, another day. But we are working on our Secretarial Touch of Romance Folio Journal Pocket, right? And we got this sewn in last week. Super stoked. We have our pocket started here. We started pinning things in place, right? Things that we need to work on. So today I figured we'd work on get the mojo going. A little sleepy here, a little tired. Didn't sleep too great this weekend, but that's okay. We're going to work on a masterboard, mini masterboard, to get two sort of writing board type pieces here that can be large journal cards. But so we can fill these two lovely fabric pockets, right? And then I have some stuff cut out, and we're going to work on, these layered pieces real quick and sort of get our big chunky things out of the way. And then hopefully we'll get the mojo going. We'll start adding in, the laces and the decor, and we'll just get the momentum going. I need to get going. I need to get inspired with my own work, right? So figured we would do that. That's where we go today. So I went ahead and I had this piece of card stock left over from when we were doing something weird. It either printed funny or was an extra sheet. No clue. But this is a great, really simple piece to use as a board or as a writing space. It is a little wonky over here, so we're going to square it out with the collages on the back side. I mean, we'll add a little bit of fabric on this corner to make it just sort of fun and decorative. One's a little wider than in the back because we can afford to. And this might be perfect more for the writing boards. It's almost the width of the paper, at least one panel. This one might be a little bit more decorative and definitely more just for, a fun, long journal card. They definitely go to the top, but when things are rounded and trimmed, I think they won't be quite as big as we think. So that's the idea. I'm looking forward to all of that. So far, it's holding up nicely. We're doing really good. So I'm really stoked. It's nice and clean right now. Really simple to use. And it sits pretty fine. I did tie some crochet lace around it over the weekend to make sure that it, wasn't too poofy. I just happened to have this available, and I was like, well, it actually sort of looks nice, right? And the bottom, because it is cut the way it is, sort of helps give a little, right? Give it a little bit of, as how our pockets panned out. It's okay. I think it helps it from being too tight and wanting to pop open or closed. So actually sits pretty nice, but we'll see what happens once we start adding in here, start adding our laces, and we start, doing all that other fun stuff. Start putting journal cards in here, trying to keep it pretty much writing. But as we start poking some things in here, we'll see how poofy this gets. It does pop open here, but when we put a little bit of lace here, we get the lace up here that we wanted, which I do need to put lace down before we glue this down. So yeah, we'll work on some of that today. We're going to work on some of the base ephemera and some of the nitty gritty pretty stuff for it all, right? So I know where sort of my middle is for here. I know we have to trim off the white, but we're going to cover everything first and then trim out and shape it the way we want. Makes it the easiest way. So a little scrappy. Tuesday maybe? I'm like, oh, hopefully Tuesday sometime. Tuesday, Wednesday. So these are the scrap pieces we had left over from when we were cutting out all of our pockets. And I figured, why not? What better way to use the back? I even have a little bit of this if I want to do small sections underneath things, if we wanted to break things up. But I figured tear and rips and, fun things to help get us going, right? Nothing perfect. Did not go the way I wanted it to, but that's okay. That's the whole point, right? I'm like, yeah, we know we have to come out a little bit farther than intended because, we're definitely trying to sort of square out this over here, square it out a little bit. So let's see. Not like my strips where I'm so used to doing whatever, right? I mean, we could just go across the top here and get this out of the way. Do that. And just sort of help us. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to have to, sort of square this out over here. So we're just sort of collaging on pieces. Finding it and hoping that we're going to keep something or whatever. We're going to purposely tear it and, make it sort of uneven so that we can have all these fun little bits, right? I know. Just see if we can. I love this piece. I don't know whether to put it on the bottom because it's sort of obvious. Maybe. I don't really have honest to God scraps, and these are very formal. look very formal scraps, right? So I'm like, well, we want to maybe not be. And I'm possibly going to see some possible openings, and that's where I think we're going to want to put, you know, maybe a little bit of this brown avocado. It's really dark on one side. I don't think I want to go that dark. But on the lighter side, we might have a few gaps. Like I can see ripping here. Oh, excuse me. Whew. Not sure where that came from. Weather's been, well, it's weather, right? And this is a gorgeous corner. If I want to keep that corner good, don't know. I mean, in this case, knowing that it's already sort of there, we can, let's do this. A lot of pink. Yeah, it's just the two colors, right? So maybe to connect things, we're going to go pink, we're going to go yellow, we're going to go pink, we're going to go yellow, all the way around. Sort of every other, maybe. I'm looking just to see what imagery we have, so I'm trying to work with it. Yes, I have some brown strips. I felt like I just wanted to downsize. We do have all this right here that I have to get rid of. Let's see, let's do a quick trim off. How are you all doing? Hopefully you enjoyed last week's videos. As we, you know, put our secretarial together and getting all this going. It is definitely it's not my concern, but I wonder if I should bring those over. Ugh, such a distraction. I did get the samples for the new fabric lines. We have two new blue-based fabrics, our fabric collections, that I created for you know, totally my Spoonflower shop. And of course, we always put, you know, fun things in the shop to help, you know, give you guys access to it. But I haven't decided what to do. I'm waiting for some lace to show up that might go with it. So I'm, you know, debating on, of course, on that and how we want to work that out. So I'm excited. But yeah, we have a paler teal with the ladies and lace and plaid and stripes and dots. And then we have one more floral and a like French ephemera feel with its you know, complementary stuff. So yeah, because we have this, which I did love. Wonder if we should like tear that out and put it on here. I should do it downward. The decal thingy, not the decal, the We Are, but this one can go off the page. We know we have some whites in places, so I can cut that. But I feel we need to flat when we can and not so flat when we can't. There we go. May not need all of that, but I don't remember if, yes, okay. So I want to make sure that our whites, like, if we have a white edge, it's not the end of the world. Can move it over a little bit, knowing, you know, we're going to cut that all off. So we're just going to do a little scrappy. Now, and of course, we're going to cut it down the middle here, so it's going to change each card considerably on how it's decorated once you cut it, right? So sometimes it's nice not really paying attention to the exact concept. So I could do that one up there. I see a potential. I am just sort of pulling the imagery out of the paper and allowing it to sort of fill the gaps, right? Seeing what is or isn't there. We do sort of match up on the top there, but that's okay. Full strip seems weird. I don't know, that just feels weird. And I know I'm laying it all out perfectly, and then I have to go back and undo all of it. But so I want to see what we have, because I don't like, I can't. I wish I could sit down and just simply put some paper down and keep going, because then I always inevitably find something that I would have worked so much better there. And I always kick myself going, oh no, I wanted that there instead. Always, inevitably. I do eyeball it a little bit, right? So I was thinking, actually, I have this dark spot, or this weird spot, and I think we can put this one in here. Oh, it's cute. My youngest gets to start her online class today. She has to take her American Sign Language online to jump ahead high school wise. We hit a snag, and so we lost one of our teachers, and then she changed gears, and it's like, oh my goodness, getting things situated right. But anyway, so she's a little overwhelmed, but it's okay. We can do it. Okay, so I'm sort of wondering. Hold on, I don't want to go too. Oh, hold on. I see potential, and so I'm always trying to see if we can not, waste too much or make it too bumpy. If I see a groove, an edge, something that blends, I try to like utilize it, right? Because I saw sort of that groove in there that matches, so we're gonna try to do that. Oh, how's everybody else's allergies going? Cheese and crackers. That's why I start sneezing. We're going warm and cold again. We're back to maybe low 80s this week. We had a lot of fog. Now I don't know how much of that's gonna stick. All right, so I'm thinking we need a chunk here, little something, to break up, and we'll do a yellow up here. So we need to do both. I already have hers. I don't want to do that again, but I love this one, but it's very much, unless I replace that. You can't really see it though. Right? I'm like, yes, no, maybe so. Get the white off, right? This is white, but I think it's not going to get tucked under. I think we're going to tuck it under everything. So I'm not too worried about the white. If I have to, I will remove it. I like this little bump, this little circle that we have right here. It gives us a little bit of character, and I love it. So we're doing something like that, but let's see if we can get it out a little farther. We don't want to go so in. Yeah. And we do that there. Something like that. And then what was I thinking? Oh, I need the pink. So I'm thinking like this big old hoopla right there, right in the middle. Nothing to talk about, I guess. We just had a nice, had a moment. We did brunch and chit chat on Sunday with my dad and my mom for Father's Day. And then there's that. But I think we need to tuck you up underneath, you on top. Maybe we'll let this one come over. That one might line up a little bit better, but I don't know, something like that. And I know I'm going to cut right down that middle so everybody gets a little something. It is a little bit more decorative on this side, which is fine because I think it's going to be on that left side where it's more of like a writing journal card, when it's simpler on the other side, not as many bumps, and it's more of a writing board on the other side. So I think that's going to work. Just more scraps. Just one, I think. But this means we have clusters and we have things that, as I am, right, working on some of the ephemera, if I need to make a cluster or something, I have a few scraps to work with, but I'm not going too crazy. I do have fabric we can do. I do have some strips here, so it may help us do some kind of little ruffly top to both these ordeals. So I'm looking at it and trying to see what needs to go down first or within reason. And that's easier said than done. I think we're just going to do edges, and I'm going to tuck an edge and work our way over. I know some things are pretty much where they need to be. Like we know those sort of stay together in that concept. These guys need to stay overlapped a little bit here, right? We know that's there. These guys are on top, well, definitely on top and underneath. So, oh, the fun stuff. I think we're going to do this pretty much glue stick because tummy's growling. That's interesting. I'm like, I had breakfast. We're gonna do it this way now, but we're gonna keep in mind I can line it up. Well, that was quick. Here, but I feel like we need to go out just a little bit because I think our edge here isn't perfect and we need something to square up on. Remember, we want to get this under here a little bit because it's not perfect. I think this is where I'm a little bit worried because everything needs to get sort of tucked underneath something else, but it's not a perfect ordeal. So like we need to do this on the outskirts. And it's over, but this is, we know gets tucked under and over at the same time. I think that's where things are different, where when you do this, it's definitely something that, like I want that here. There we go. I'm going to do this here. I don't think I wanted that to show there. I want to be like that. And this may not turn any way out the way it's meant to be, right? I might be completely off when I'm all said and done. It happens. We get it all perfect, and then we go, oh, well, that wasn't my plan. That wasn't my visual. That's okay. We will go back and fine tune and finesse, of course, everything once it's good, but I want to make sure we'll make slight adjustments as we go along. Yeah, okay. I want to make sure this is where we start with the glue stick and we end up with our glitter glue, because this is where we can get into those little crevices and really nail something down to make sure that we have something to work with. This one I think goes straight across the top. I don't have it tucked, no. But I do feel it's a little rough, like a little, what's the word? Perfect. So we're gonna fix that. I don't really have any really sharp edges or straight edges except for maybe here. I'm not inking any of this, which is sort of interesting. I mean, you could if you really wanted it to stick out and you wanted a lot more dimension, you would ink all these pieces before you did anything. But sometimes I think it takes away from the fun of the what's the word? That layering. Like, it's a different, we always ink the end result, but I think in between, and I am trying to get some of the glue off because I did overdo it, and I don't think we have too much coming on. Ooh, it's picking up the ink. Okay, we'll be a little more careful about that. Interesting. Kind of gooey. Get those oils in your fingers in there too sometimes. There we go. All right. That is funny. All right, so I don't know. I think this goes fine. Get that down. I think we're finally good here. So we can get that down. Get you over here down. There we go. We are getting somewhere. I believe everything else goes on top over here. Right? Okay. Now, you're on top, definitely. We want to make sure. I had it pretty low. This goes underneath. Oh, that all goes underneath, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. That's the other fun part. Thankfully for this, I did not need all that. This is where we were like debating on whether or not how much we needed. I didn't want to tuck too much underneath, but we want to make sure we tuck just the right angle and whatnot up there. Okay, so put that back down. I need to clean my poor, even your erasers. You know, they pick up on all this stuff. Glue erasers need a little bit of TLC. But yeah, it's amazing how it's actually rolling off some of the color. The ink. It's a new one. Or I just didn't notice it before. Alright. Alright, I did want that on top, so let's do this. Maybe we won't be as excessive here with our glue stick. Sometimes, oops, I like gluing when I'm gluing things down on and not so much the items. I want to make sure I cover the area. I think either way we end up missing something. You always end up missing a spot no matter what we do, right? That up there. Yep, okay. So let's try to put the glue elsewhere so we're not getting it all over our paper. Hopefully this works out. I'm hoping. I'm putting this one down first because I do know that I wanted this corner to overlap so that we didn't see, again, that sort of sharp edge. So here is where we're sort of extending our corner because we have that interesting edge. And by doing this, I sort of can hopefully square this off. And either we do round corners or whatever, that on this side we can square off. And then I can put fabric or something in this corner to give us sort of like a peekaboo page rip feel. What I do with fabric or whatever. Okay, so there's that. And then this was our last piece. Hopefully. We're going to move it until it fits the way I want it, right? Perfect. Okay, it actually worked. It worked. Okay. It's always great when your vision actually comes out and works like it's supposed to, right? So after this, yeah, I don't know. I'll have to find some very specific decorating objects or whatever for Thursday or Friday video. I'm hoping to get a couple cute little things or something different done for next week. I have to get ahead of the game actually because I will be very busy. We are doing our, like I said, our fireworks fundraiser booth all next week, the following week, up to 4th of July. so that our band can have the funding we need to get through the season. A lot of it comes for our fireworks booth, so we're very, very thankful for that people are willing to, you know, be festive, and being it's a Saturday this year. Yeah, I think it's a Saturday, right? Yeah. You know, no work that day, or for most people, no work the next day. So it also means it might be a little louder for a little longer than usual. We'll see. Sometimes the work day helps keep the illegal fireworks down to a bare minimum, but maybe not this week, not this year. Oh well. Okay, so now we cut. So I'm going to go cut off really quick, because remember, I'm going to cut off the white here, clean it, square it off across the top, and very carefully right inside here, find me as straight as line as I can. So I just have a little bit of a ruffle of fabric, something up here, or another set of paper, because we have still have some scraps left over, that will allow us, you know, sort of this faux squared edge, and to give us this pretty skinny journal card to work with and put in that pocket. So let me go do a quick snip over on my cutter, because there's just not enough room on your workspace. We have limitations. Okay, there we go. So that is what the two looked like. They're all cleaned up and you know, see, ta-da, and then ta-da and ta-da. Simpler, easier, great for more of a mini writing, right? We could put it here, you know, lets you write on it. It's almost the perfect size. We'll keep it simple. We won't do anything too crazy with it, so you can write, you know, underneath as a mini writing board to help you, you know, clean out your, in case we get bumpy, we have a little something to help you as a writing board. It's not super thick, but it will work to do the job. Now I do have an eraser issue, which I cut it just a little bit wider than I expected, but I also had to shift everything due to the fact that, you know, they were working on it. So think coming around the corners just a little bit, so it's not perfectly square. We're going to double check all of our papers here. We don't want anything sticking out or coming up loose. I have to decide, only thing, when making a writing board, you really don't want anything sticking out, because that would defeat the purpose of a writing board, right? So I don't think I'll decorate this with any fabric or anything on the top. I was debating about even putting a tab on the top, but that could get in the way. So we'll see. We'll decide if that becomes it. Well, we need a little something fancy going on, and maybe we put a little something at the top so that we know that it's there. But ink, that we do need. Well, that we do need. I have a brand new thing, daubler. Oh my gosh, I always start out really good, and I'm like circular and movements, and you know, trying not to obliterate and shred my poor thing. But I do notice, no matter what we do, because of the papers, I feel like we, you know, overuse our sponges, and we end up try to do more circular and not so swipey, so that I'm not cutting it. It's like when you do use the wrong end of the knife and you go across the spongy side of your cleaning sponge. There's like the rough side of the end, which is really great for your knives and stuff. But yeah, it's like, yeah, it's cutting up your sponges trying to clean your knives. You're like, whoops. I feel like sometimes we do the same thing with our inkers, right? We don't do a smooth round area trying to ink things. We get I get very up and down this way, and so I end up going you know, I end up sort of shredding my poor, what's it called, sponges to my dauber. And it's all about just technique and practice, I guess. You know, just trying to get the right whatever, right? So there we go. Plus it just helps. I mean, because we always want to get in here and we're like, oh, we don't want to see white. We don't want the color. We want to faux the fact that it's brand new stuff. Okay. Ta-da. Beautiful, simple. I mean, I can go either way with it if I really wanted to. If I wanted to put something up here, you know, because it is writing, but I think on the bottom it's great because sometimes that's what you write the most. So this just goes in here beautifully, nice and long. We know it's back there. Yeah, a little tap or something would definitely let you know it's back there. So we'll see. I will have to make that decision. But the other one, I think we're going to be a little bit more crafty with. We're going to be a little bit more something with it because I feel like something of this width and stuff. I sometimes have a tendency of going with a wider half-inch cut sometimes. But I think we want to keep it sort of light and delicate so I don't think I'm going to do the wider cut this time. That way, it just keeps it more delicate and we don't lose too much of the space of the writing space. My glue isn't coming out. Yes, okay. I'm like, are we coming out? Let's see, trying to make sure. As we work it, we'll figure it out. So, let's decide what to do on this end. Well, let's ink everything first so that I know what I'm working with. So what are we working on? Let's see. We are almost last week of July. Yeah, second to last week of July. June. Cut out. Not say July yet. No, it can't be the end of July yet. No, not even there. Too much going on. Fabric reveals, Christmas in July, clinics and boot camps and things getting ready. Like, no, not. So we're second to last week of June. I think because next week, next week is the last week of June into July. It's like a combination. It's a June-July week. And it's, you know, for us, for me, I'm all getting ready for 4th of July with the potential of, you know, Christmas in July right behind it. So I have to work on two different aspects. Why not, right? A little Christmas in July for you guys. We'll do a little something just to open up the digitals so you guys for the month of July, and so in case someone's going to jump start on that. And then I do turn those off for a few months at a time. I don't leave my Christmas stuff up all year round. And then, you know, reintroduce some of the basics that we always have in the shop, or try to have in the shop. I'll just see what new things come in this year, see what we get. New and old, you know, sticks or doesn't stick. What I can get a hold of. Whatever bag kits might come into play. We'll see. Okay, so I could now use one of the strips from when I was cutting the samples for you guys. I have, you know, excess pieces. I can go pink on the back. I mean, it's not till we turn it over, and even if it's bunched up, we're going to see sort of a white tone to the back of it, right? If it peaks up, I might not. I may trim it so we can't see any of the fabric. I might want to do just this, straight down the side. That way you can't tell. It does narrow our writing, though. I almost rather bunch something up as a, like, faux gathered fabric in the corner. But this one happens to be thinner, so I wonder if that'd be easier. This is a little thicker. It's interesting how some of these definitely feel different. Interesting. They're all the same fabric, but it's how it's, sometimes about the ink maybe it's printed on it. I don't know. You even have a little yellow lace left over. If I wanted to layer it up, this might be fun on the top of this. So, all right, let's see. Let's do some tacky stuff, right? Tacky stuff. Fabric tack. I shouldn't say tacky. I hope that no one thinks this is tacky. Heartbreaking. Heartbroken. No. I mean, I could match it. I really do just have this too. But I feel like we need to bring in some of these lovely little samples that we have in the kit. And, you know, bring in the other ones that I couldn't get large pieces for. So, I gotta pick and choose. Now, that's the other thing. Keep an eye out. I might, just might, do a little special on this Touch of Romance come July. July is technically, well, July is my digital design anniversary. Jewel Design's digital side is, you know, premiered 4th of July weekend. We had a soft opening in May into June, and then by 4th of July week, it took off. And so, but our Design Journal Supply is definitely more February, right? So, so I don't think I want this to be seen. I think we're gonna, sorry guys, jabbed you. We're gonna keep it pretty level, pretty hidden. And trying to decide how much I want to get it a little bit more glued off to the side here. There we go. Let me glue, hold. There we go. Since this is not a writing board, this is going to be our more decorative journal card. We can have a little more fun with it. There we go. Almost. See it a little bit. I'm going to have to do a little bit of gluing down, but tiny little strip, pretty corner. Loving it. I think this one definitely needs some kind of, ouch, I think I have a sunburn right there, but I feel like I just scratched something. Pretty little yellow. Now I can either, it's not really wide enough for me to do, I mean I could, but I'm wondering if we just do a, I don't know, right corner, do a little, just a little something across the top. I could probably do the little bunchy here too. Not a lot, I just want a little something so it sticks out. Maybe in this opposite corner of it, so that when it's sitting in the front pouch, right? I love just scrunching things up. I totally forgot about doing this until I saw Lorette do it the other day, or not the other day, probably longer than that, with a crinkled ribbon. It's already, you know, already tends to lead that way, but it was like, oh, duh, you don't have to sew everything into a ribbon-like effect. You can just sort of scrunch and glue down, which I love. So I always forget about that. I'm like, no. But see, it just gives you sort of a tabby feel. It gets you play with it. Trying to see if I can bring it out a little bit. Yes, I have purple thumbs and nothing else. I didn't mean to paint my nails, but I'm in the middle of, you know, about to do 4th of July nails, but my thumbs are really, really short. And you see, I use them so much and I have to protect them. I keep splitting them, which is never good. So I'm at that point where I'm trying to, you know, protect them with all the roughness that I put them through. So yes, my nails are too different, sorry. All right, take that off. Yeah, it's not gonna work. I'm like, that's okay. Okay, so I'm loving that. Got a little something here. We've got that little guy there, right? Loving it. But all this room to write on, right? Now, inside or outside, if we wanted to decorate it, see, I'm sort of getting my mojo. I think later. What did I end up doing? No, I went horizontal. We have new sets of words, but they're horizontal, which doesn't mean, you know, timeless beauty. There's a number of words that Lorette requested that are now in the digital shop that would be perfect for this. So I may actually have to go finally print my own sheet of words, because everything I have is a single word. It's ornate. It's sort of pink, but the new colors might be nice. Baroque, no. Elegant, yes, maybe. Lady, superb, fabulous. I mean, I have these, like I have it. It's a little small, but I have a slightly bigger words. So I'm thinking they're horizontal, so not vertical. Usually my 2 inches are vertical. You know, I always go this way, but this time we did some fun stuff this way. So I think I'm gonna have to go print that. I mean, I have a few. That's love. It's not that big. I don't want love. I want something else. Okay, so I have to print my own words and get them in, so we can maybe do a little bit of decor on the top, right? So that it doesn't really interfere too much, whether it's on this side or both sides. We got to do some wording. Do a little word play in clusters here. I think, yeah, we could get a word up here, and we should get maybe we need to put like a word in underneath under this one, and it gives us a little bit of detail and then plenty of writing space, right? Okay, now, so there's this one for here. So there, simple, using up scraps, ripping to the pieces that we love, and there we go. So we've got 2 filled in already. This one is technically this thing, and we thought maybe on this back page, it went with this, didn't interfere with that writing. It's decorative on this side anyway. We have her, so having a pocket works. So that's a simple fix. We'll just get that out of the way. We are doing our layering today. We are laying up our big pockets, our fancy pockets, the things that I sort of labeled as elegant or fancy ephemera, because we start getting into a lot of scalloped edges and multi-layered pockets and things that could go into skinny journals and standalone elements. And so I started having fun, and, you know, more square, not so much rectangle journal cards, and more different types of, you know, edged pockets, and yeah, all kinds of fun things that just would outside the norm of my kits. So this was one of those first ones that I did that I really liked that concept. You know, is it a 2 inch or 1.5 inch? I think that's my 1.5 inch. It's just deeper, so it's really obvious that we have a nice thumb notch. Yep. Okay, 1.5 inches. You know, line up the best you can, and voila, ta-da! Ink it. We're good. Now this one definitely has a pocket. Now, so we'll have to find some cellophane. Whether you use cellophane, whether you use a slightly harder packing ordeal, whatever depends on how much you feel you're going to use it. I mean, you can do something, you know, harder, which, you know, I have plenty. I even have that one's too short. Make sure it's a little wider than what you're doing. We can do it that way. Find a spot that hasn't been cut into and destroyed, but I can find it that way, make it tougher. Or we should have a couple different. You even have that one. That's not bad, actually. It's almost perfect. Just cut down the edges a little bit. Not as thick, a little bit more flexible. Or you go into your cellophane bags, like, right, you take a piece and you really go thin. You have to decide on how you're using your pocket and your shakers and things like that to decide how deep or how thick, how poignant you need your window to be. You know, we're putting a lot in it, or a lot of thick things in it. Maybe you want a thicker window so it makes it a little bit more reliable. One thing, I made these lovely scallops, and I was like, what was I thinking? Cutting them is, you know, they don't do all that great with curves. Trying to cut the corners a little bit helps, so you're not coming in and out and having to try to work around it by cutting into that little crevice. Helps a little bit. But yeah, I'm going back and forth with the allergies. I could really do without. Okay, so it's going on here. It is going to blend, so I might want that back one to blend, so I may keep to the pink. I may not want this to be super obvious, so it can blend in with the paper, because it literally is the same paper in the background. That's probably why I picked it, because I was like, well, I hate to lose, yes, the writing page, but we're putting a skinny journal card in it, and if I do what we've always done, I can leave the back open. And that way you could do like we did here, put a piece of paper right on it, fold it up, and tuck it in the back side. So you don't really lose the writing space. We just make it a different spot. It's more of a hidden, peekaboo, hidden writing space, because you have to pull something out to view it. That's, you know, or you're putting, you know, just about anything you want back in there. Can't miss. Sometimes we have a hard time missing out on the possibility of a new pocket, right? Now, if I want this to stick out, though, and I already have a little bit of a darker color around it, we're going to use the vintage photo, because I did a sort of a gray, neutral brown, pre-smudgy edge to some of these boxes. Help you see the edges, see, you know, but also if you didn't have ink, you sort of have that ink feel without actually using ink if you weren't able to, right? I have this smudged effect around the boxes. So, but I feel we do want more of the brown so that it sticks up a little bit, so you know, you can see that there is a pocket here. So my corner is not clear. No, these are all in the kit. The digital kit, the printouts. Yes, I'm thinking about doing a special on these guys, on this kit, on this fabric printed kit. So keep that in mind. I'll let you know. I will put up a YouTube post or Instagram post, Facebook post, something, letting you know if I decide to do a little something special for the 4th of July week. Since it's a combo, you know, it is the digital side, but we're gonna do it on the design supply side. Might have a tiny little bonus sale bundle thing going on with these guys, because right now, yeah, you've got your green and your pink, green and or pink fabrics, the samples, the envelopes. So I'm thinking about something, but I'll let you know as we get closer what I decide to do with that. I'm having to debate along with the new fabrics and stuff that come out. I have the samples for the new fabrics. I'm waiting for the lace that I want to put with it once it shows up. I still have to order bigger chunks of the fabric, which is the bummer part. But I think I got it worked out. I will get it going and then do a semi-reveal, and then let you guys know what the actual where is my cutter? What, you know, what the bundles may be. So something else to keep in mind. But we got some new things coming out. We've got new laces are to show up soon. We've got the new French laces showing up soon. Told me they were on their way. And she's really good. Lady's really good about sending it. So she's got that down pat. So that's nice. Now I am doing this sort of free-handedly. Gutsy of me. I'm all gutsy of me to be doing this free-handed. I know better. So far so good, but let's not, because you can press down and if you miss, like, you end up cutting it wrong. I don't want to cut too hard, but I want to do this, so let's see. You can go in and cut down the middle and then use your scissors. I personally don't always do great with that, so I'm sort of trying to use it, even if it's just sort of to get it started, and see how it does. That's why I have my little glue pad underneath too, so I'm cutting into that, not into my board. My poor contact paper. Well, that's why it's there. It takes a brunt of the, it does take a brunt of the whatever before I get into, you know, anything else. Now, if I do this right, it's a little rough, but that's okay. I think the other side might be printed on. So I might have a built-in journal card right here, where all I got to do is more scraps, right? I have another journal card ready to go since I do my ephemera on the cardstock, 65-pound cardstock. You know, it's sort of, if only that could be something fun. Yeah, so it's printed on the back with what actually my lace background. So I actually have a built-in already ready to go journal card right here. A little longer than a typical ATC. It's about the right. But see, now all I have to do is cover this, and I have a journal card. Little ink, little cover up, and I have another journal card. Whether I stick it in here, whatever I do with it, but yeah, this gets very flimsy, so that's why it's nice to have the clear pockets too, because we get to reinforce it a little bit, clean it up. Using an X-Acto knife does give you a little bit of a rougher edge, but then that does absorb a certain amount of help absorb some of the ink, right? When you use your edges of your knife, not your knives, your scissors, and you rough it up, right? Not that I intentionally want to do that, but not in this case at least. But it will help in that. So I'm trying to ink it a little bit so that we have a little bit of dimension. Okay, and then there's this, yeah, this one's sort of not too shabby. Really just, it's rough, it's whatever. But all I would do is now cover the other side where it says great window. Now you could, if you didn't want to cut this out, you could decorate this. You could totally scrap it and fussy cuts and whatever and totally do it that way too. No one says you have to cut it out. It's just an option there for you because the other one doesn't have a cutout. It's fully decorated, right? So I give you one of each so you can decide what works best for you. But see, there we go. Covered with some stuff, and I've got a journal card. Okay, because I happened to print on the back of this whole page because of the one journal card. Where did I do it? Oh, it's up there. Because of the one journal card, and I didn't want it to be empty. See, I wanted something on the back. The whole thing received a backing. So that's why that ended up with such a lovely, quick, easy ordeal. Now, cleaning this, right? Easier said than done. That's the only downside. Some of this stuff is a little not great on the TLC side. And so we end up with a little bit of scratches and whatnot. So, you know, get your dry wipe, see if you can reduce some of the craziness. Hoping it's not dirty, hoping it's not cut. I think that's why I was doing this one. Okay, so already has a little bit of brown. Do this so I can make my life easy and just trim a little off and trim a little off and be done. Now, I prefer to do fabric tack, and because 3 of these sides really do already have paper attached, we're going to utilize that because then I'm not trying to glue directly onto only the clear cellophane, even if it is a harder cellophane. Tends to move, tends to get a little weird. I know I'm just doing the 3 sides because I want to make sure it lines up well, and then I can go back on that 4th side and do what I need to do. But at least if it shows it, you know, you can wipe it away from your opening so that it does not squooge in to that too much. Of course, if it does, you just wipe it off on the other side. Wipe away from the middle, whatever you do. Eek, what is, oh, it's, I'm like, what is that? It's what, it's like, what's the word? It reminds me of, you know, even our, oh my gosh, total blanking there, right? What's the word? Not crazy glue, hot glue. You know, you always have, when you cut it, you always end up with something. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to make sure it's out of the way. Preferably cut it to size would make more sense, but I wanted to make sure that the paper was in the right spot. I didn't end up with anything too overly out of whack or in the wrong place. Come on. There we go. Nice thing is, even with these glue bottles, it is thinner than, say, maybe your Fabri-Tac Hole. So I just do it this way, let it glue outward, up and down, give it a moment. We're going to glue down anyway, so that helps. It's not like but we want to keep it as narrow as we can up here. And I'm just going to go in here, get off the excess, because we don't want that showing. So it ruins the effect, right? I'm trying to get it. All right, not too shabby. All right, so there we go. I wish it was cleaner, but okay. I don't know. I have a hard time, right? Okay, so then, and I purposely made them, when you're done cutting it, to be a little bit staggered. I did not have a perfect to the edge if you cut it within. So you had a little bit of a beveled feel and look while you were layering it. We do that for the back one too that we're going to work on next. That one has some layers, and so yes, again, it's sort of gives you a beveled, stacked feel when we do this. So I just realized, as great as that all is, I'm a little wide over here. Not that we have a very narrow whatever journal card, but I do like to give myself as much space as possible so that you're not limited to just the journal card I give you, journal tag I give you. The scallop tag, so you know, there we go. Give it a moment to settle, warm it up with your hands. But then, let's put the, what's it called? I do like to try to put the, there we go, bone folder in there to make sure that it's not super tight. We want to make sure that there's a little bit of a bubble so that things are a little easier to get in and out of. There we go. Let's ink this one. We want sort of the brown look on the back. There's a blue-green on the front. I do have brand new blues, but I just realized I don't have a dauber prep for that. I guess I could swap them, but I gotta be really careful. I've got 2 new blues, but I think there's still blue jean and like smoky blue, but not quite. This is still sort of a teal blue. It's not blue. So I think our speckled egg our speckled egg has a little bit more teal in it than we realize, which is great. I think it's what saves me sometimes. Yeah. It looks like it matches actually really well. And it's just a hint. I just want to get that little bit of a shadowing effect. Make sure there's no white. It smokies it out a little bit because it's an oxide. It doesn't always mean it's going to be darker. It's just going to give me, again, some kind of light dimension to help not look so flat. Okay. And all you have to do is this. Now, the fun part about this one, which I love about the window, so there she is. You know, you pull it out, easy thumb, is the front. I actually then like getting the fussy cuts and gluing in the corner and decorating it. So, let's do this. Let's see where we land. Ooh, land out. And it helps sort of bring the inner one there, sort of matches up here, brings this piece to fruition, right? You can sort of see it. You're like, oh, it goes together. I'm going to glue it down right there. 3 sides, all that jazz. So that really thin. If I can do it thin. So that if I wanted to, maybe, yeah. Bottom there. If we wanted to put a piece of paper, document, I don't know, then program, something in this back pocket for part of your journaling, you could. You'd have the room to do so. I gave you a piece on the other one because it is part of the cover, so it's a little bit more advanced. This one we will leave. I'm going to leave it blank back there and just allow you to have the ability to do it. All right. Or I tuck a little something out just so you know it's there, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Ta-da! Again, making sure. Yeah. Glitter glue works fast, but at the same time you can pop it right up if you go too thin. Well, sometimes too thin, right? But I also give a little bit so it's not super tight and it doesn't pop up. Okay. So the fun part about this, which I don't know if I have anybody prepped, but florals. Florals. You can do something like this where it's very much 3D, right? We have a 3D floral piece, right? It looked really good on my other kit. This one I don't know about, but isn't that pretty though? It is really, but it sort of takes over. So, but that is a fun idea for a corner piece for something else later. But what I was thinking is, where are all my florals? Or word, or I have some skinny romance gilded, so we could do, either to pick it up, we could do a Regency yellow square in the corner along with a floral. We can do oh, I thought it was a ticket. It's a glitter piece. How funny. We can do her. We can do like this floral in the corner with like a ticket piece. A ticket and a floral in the corner to pull more color. I like the idea of a ticket. I almost like the beige one. We haven't done much of the beige yet. So the emit one floral piece. It looks like she's going to go sit down somewhere. So why not, right? All right, let me fussy cut these out real quick. And then we'll do glitter and pearls and then move on to the next thing. Okay. And I realized we're already 52 minutes in. You know how easy it is to do this? Oh my gosh. It's amazing how time flies, right? We do a little scrapbooking and a little scrappy stuff to do a master board. We glued in this. I like the admin. I like the floral. Admit. I did sort of a light kiss cut, and I'm not sure if it's enough. If I do end up pink inking, I think it's fine. These I did not put that sort of colored, easy cut shading around them. Some I did, some I didn't. I sort of debated. I think being an older kid, what do you want to call it? The florals and stuff were solid enough in their thing that they didn't blend right into everything. That I felt I could get away with not doing it because, you know, a lot of green leaves and stuff. So I am doing more than one ink. I am inking green around the green leaves. I'm doing a little bit of pink around the pink flower. It's another way to just sort of hide the fact you have white, right? You don't want to cut into every little aspect. It just gives it another layer too, and you can do sort of multiple little things. Okay, so I'm thinking we're gonna decorate out here a little bit and some pearls, and yeah, I'm liking that idea. Where are my pearls? Where are the pearls? Maybe, is that the new lace? Oh, it is one of the new laces. Ooh, I gotta keep in mind that too. I know we didn't get to the lace, so that's a whole other ballpark. I'm gonna have to get to the lace on my own probably. I'm thinking it's sort of pearl-like. It has these dots in it, but maybe underneath. Do the lace underneath a little bit and the pearls over the top. I'm liking that, so let's do this. Okay, I'll glue that down. I love this one. This one's really pretty, actually. It's a very delicate. It's new in the shop. It's the first French lace we got from a new vendor overseas. I shouldn't say overseas, from Europe. Overseas sounds so wrong. I'm gonna do it upside down so we have a little bit more of the edge on the bottom. I'm going to, I'm not going to do all the way up because I know we do have that slightly plastic thing going on up here. So, but Fabri-Tac again helps with that. Let's see if I can turn it a little bit. I'm gonna go that way with it. No, not either way, huh? Gotta love it. Nice thing about the Fabri-Tac is either way, admit it's not something we can see all of. So let's do this. Whoop. I really don't need everything. It's okay if it's not perfectly glued down because it does give it not a pocket feel, but it does give us something to work on. Okay, so I'll do that. Let's do ours. Come to find out, someone asked me about this. If you do diamond painting, little drills on sticky printed canvases, like paint by number, there are sticky edges around the outside where we don't put our little drills. And someone asked if this would remove that sticky stuff when you were done. And with a very clean one, it actually doesn't do too bad. Got to do a little bit of TLC, a little bit of work, you know, to get it past the point of no return. But it does work. So thank you for that. I think, I don't know if she watches me or not, or if she just happened to come across the shop, but yeah, I was sort of like, oh, let me see. I was like, I have a diamond paint canvas. Let me go look. Love when I have the craft and someone, you know, from a different genre comes over and goes, hey, does this work? I don't know. Let me try. There's a lot of sticky canvases with the, you know, symbols and numbers on them, and you match the colors and you fill it in. You have these they look like our pearls. And, yeah, and so you just like this. But they're all colored, and they're pretty, and they're rounds, and they're squares, and we, you know, stick them in place. But they have this edge where the coloring is that we don't put diamonds on. And it's always left over, and you're always sticking on it, and most of the time we have to put something down just to keep our hands out of it. All right, 2, 4, 5, maybe 7, so it overlaps a little bit of both. Sound like a plan to me. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 7. There we go. So yeah, we'll do, think of something to do for Thursday. And then if all goes well, I will reveal some fabric bundles that'll go in with the new fabric I created to go with a different, similar but different Victorian, my blue Victorian journal kit. I created some new fabrics in the blues because we've done a lot of pink and green. So we did some pretty blue stuff. Got that all created, and we'll release them in the shop, the Spoonflower shop. But I want to release a bundle to you guys. I just don't know what size print or like fabric yet. It's 5 fabrics, 2 different kits with different laces. So I'll just do fat quarters, and that way you guys can actually make something out of it. You know, if you quilt or, you know, sew stuff and like to make a little bit external, you can make a cover for your journals, like a full-blown, like, stick-it-in cover, or something a little more, a little different, if you want to get a break from the paper side. But yeah, I have to look at that. We're going to wait for one more piece, and if you like it, then I'll reveal everything. But there we go. We have mitts, we have lace, we have florals. And when you pull her out, it's still very decorative on its own. You can put something else in there if you decide this is not what you want in there. Right? Write on it, share it, hide it. There we go. Ta-da. Okay, so we have a thin but usable writing board. So like, yeah, next time you're like, oh, I need to write on a page. You're like, oh, well, I don't have to worry about it. It's just a little extra something to help less. Actually, we don't flip it around, but you want the flattest paste. But then you can write on this and not be so bumpy, right? So there we go. Nice light area. Then we have the digital one on the front. And you can decide that you don't need a writing board, and you can decorate this up, and you have another large journal card to write on. But there we go. We have our first of many pockets. This one's done. I just needed to, the reason why I have this over here is that I wanted to score this cute little guy and get it folded properly. It's all, I didn't have all the proper tools out the other day. So this one is a 4-flap envelope. You can hold little, this one they're really little, so you can hold little like a little fussy cut pieces. You could make it a shaker by putting a bunch of stuff in this when you open it up. Isn't that fun? do all kinds of, or just open, I think because it's printed, you can do, or you can just, if you glue it down or seal it just right, you can just open it up and write on it, like as if it was a journal card. Well, that is the joy of this 4 flap. It doesn't have to be perfectly sealed. You don't have to glue it all down. You can just do a partial glue. This is where I always do a little bit of work. Yep. I don't know why, no matter how hard I try. Cut my corners a little bit better. There we go. So this one, you know, you can do it a number of ways. But if you do like a little wax seal right here, then you can pop it open and write on the whole inside of it, and then it's a little hidden, you know, little hidden gem, right? So there's that possibility. So let's ink it so it's pretty and be ready to go. But I wanted to put it in our little mesh organza pocket that we created, again using a clear piece of cellophane, a harder one, a little bit tougher cellophane piece. You know, we could glue down that organza and not worry about it sticking through. Let's just give it some weight so that it didn't rip so easily, no matter what we wanted to do. So, let's do this. Here's our cute little envelope. We're going to tuck it in here. So I've put, yeah, we have a cute little envelope. We have a beautiful, get some blue on here. Cute little tag. I have a few pieces that are pretty simple that I will probably slowly but surely decorate up as we go. But I wanted to have a few things, and this was one of our first of many pockets on the more keepsake side. That's going to allow us, right? Now this one, I can't decide whether to cut out the clock itself or keep it as a full tag and put it in there. I haven't decided. It's cute though. I just felt the clock had sort of a Bridgerton feel to it. You know, this is one of our Touch of Romance is a Jane Austen Regency, you know, inspired kit. So with a lot of lace and roses as a fabric. Since there's some really pretty papers in the kit that lend to all of this, right? My cutting is so funny. Oh my gosh. I really, it's operator error on my scallops. Hopefully you guys do. I know you guys can do it way better than I can. I feel like I need to even that out. I don't know what I did there. I'm like, geez. One has a big dip, one has no dip. I'm like, really? I think it's because of the book, where the book hits. Do I not do that right? But that's a nice part. You can decide just how much you need to show or not show. Or how much you want it to do. Anything. I don't know. It's nice when it's decorated, you can't tell. And if you don't like it, lace it. Lace it, put paper, scrap it, tab it, cut it off. You're like, oh, never mind. I didn't do that well. Go across the top. Level it out to one big thing. Nothing is stuck exactly the way you have it. No one says it has to stay that way. It all can be altered. The joy of paper and other items. And then, yeah, this one is just, just haven't decided if I'm going to take out more of the fussy cut of the watch. Or whether it wasn't fancy enough. I didn't put it in the little thing I made, the little ring thing I made. I think it's perfect for this. So right now we're going to leave it as is, and then we'll see how it goes. We'll see whether I may decide that I want it glued on the outside. I might decide I want to just leave it tucked in here. It's another piece, right? But we have a few things, and because it is the organza and all that, it definitely has the girth and the width to handle that cute little pocket, little envelope. See, ta-da! So there's all, that is now tucked and ready to go, and we're waiting to see what else we're going to do with it. Still be really careful with it, but definitely need something on the back here to keep it a little flatter. So we definitely want to put a little sticker. I have some rounds that I can use. I can do any number of things really to help tuck that in and make it a little less pudgy. And of course, just really scoring it helps too. So, okay. Anyway, so you can either see the pocket or you can see the fact that it's an envelope or not. Totally up to you. And everything else. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Some ephemera, some bases, getting the rhythm going. Thank you very much. It helped a lot because now I can probably go and get that back one done. I'll do the back one as a quick short for you guys, just so you can see me put it together. It's pretty explanatory, but the one on the back is very similar to what we do on the front, just a few extra pieces. So yeah, that one I did glue down. All right, so we've got that, and we have this cute little guy, which yes, I need my words. I'll get them printed, and we'll tack a saying here, tack a word here. I have a new timeless word sheet in the digital side. And then yeah, it's just trying to tuck in, right, our little, I'm gonna do that and tuck it in here. That's a little big, so I like the fact of either back there once it's covered. Even this one has two, so this one actually can take a slightly larger journal card because of the double. So yeah, I like this one in the front here. So I just need to decide how to cover the white side. We have a journal card waiting to go right there. Isn't that, I'm loving that I'm finding spots, finding places to tuck things in. So thank you all very much for joining, liking, loving, commenting, making sure you start following me. If you found me just recently, make sure you hit the follow button, the notifications, the alerts, all of that, so you don't ever miss out on those moments when I get a chance to put something up and show off what I'm working on, whether it's a new technique, a tutorial, or just, hey, let's craft along today, whatever it might be. I greatly appreciate you joining along. And you never know when I'm revealing a new kit, a new bundle, a new fabric, a new something, right? So love you all very much. Thank you for joining me, and we'll talk all real soon. Bye-bye.